Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome along as you join us for the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship here live and exclusive on Apex Racing TV. Well, after a week away in Europe at the Red Bull Ring for the last round, we return this week to the USA for the next 2 rounds, with tonight being the first round of the 2. Of course, just as the sun's starting to rise here at the iconically bumpy Sebring International Raceway. This track is a mecca for sports car fans the world over, having held its famous 12-hour race here since 1952 and originally built on runways connecting roads of a former US Army air base. What was a temporary affair, but is now a permanent facility used all year round for testing and club racing. I'm Tim Cox. We have Alex Simpson with us in the production booth, but right now I'm joined as ever by my partner in crime for the Porsche Cup Series, Mr. DJ Clark. DJ, last week it was, of course, the rolling hills of the Red Bull Ring, a short, fast, technical circuit. However, the bumps, the many corners, and the lack of change in elevation that Sebring possesses here, it's a very, very different challenge for our drivers.
It certainly is, Tim, and the way everything is going to play out here, especially with these Porsche Cup cars, remember, no traction control, no ABS. Those bumps are going to play havoc when they get down into the braking zone. Don't be surprised if we see a couple of drivers getting very, very squirrely into the heavier braking zones, or really going into the second half of this circuit when it really kind of becomes a maze. It can be very easy to lose your way. As you mentioned, no elevation change, no real landmarks to be able to pick out of the surrounding area. You just have to know this place like the back of your hand to be able to get it right.
You do indeed, and there's definitely going to be a few places that are going to maybe catch our drivers out. We've got qualifying just getting underway right now, and I think it's definitely going to throw up some interesting results. Like you say, it's so easy to incur off track around here, and get offline and just get yourself into a whole world of pain. And before we get going truly, let's just mention our sponsors for this evening's race. First up, we've got Virtual Racing School. If you're looking to improve your on-track performance with 50+ data packs for road and oval racing, they have setups, track guides, data analysis, and software and one-on-one coaching. Next up, we've got SDK Gaming. If you're looking to add a live virtual HUD to iRacing, show time towers, enhance relevant boxes, mini-maps, etc., and also use it for your broadcasts of your leagues. We use it for all of our broadcasts here at Apex Racing TV. You can also use it to stream to Twitch to the most complete overlay on iRacing. You can also use it for the fuel calculators and such like to adjust your team's strategy on the fly for the most accurate live timing on iRacing. Then finally, we've got Apex Racing Academy. They have 29 data packs, setups, track guides, integration with a number of sponsors, VRS, Virtual Racing School, weekly group coaching sessions, and much, much more. And we've got drivers just out onto setting the times, and Godestad looking like he's leading the way for now. But let's just have a quick run through your championship. Well, RPC Esports, they've been heading off into the distance, really. And Christensen, their main driver, taking control on 371 points with Strom. And Godestad's now starting to fall a little bit behind Christensen, but still much, much more to play for this season. Just to round out your top 10, we've got Mokes, Cope, Parker, Ward, Dressier, Lacine, and Jensen, making you up to 10th place in the championship. And some interesting battles starting to emerge, especially around that midfield. Your Mantas in 11th, only just 2 points behind Jensen and a position inside the top 10. Mentioned still plenty all to play for, so expect that well and truly to change as the season continues. Of course, format here. We have 2 heat races. First off, 25 minutes, and then for the second race, the top 8 are reversed to form the grid for the second race of the evening. And just taking a little look at it out on track, it's a relatively cool morning. I'm currently around about 7 o'clock in the morning here at Sebring. Godestad is leading the way by 6/10 over Matthias Burke. He is currently in 3rd, with Cope joining him on the 2nd row. And Wadsworth, the top of the AM drivers, currently in 6th here, DJ. And this time's definitely starting to come in well and truly here. It's definitely going to be an evolving one, especially as the track starts to rubber in more and more into the cool dawn morning here.
Yeah, for sure. And as that sun continues to rise, the track temperature will rise as well. As you said, 72 degrees Fahrenheit out on in the air and on circuit right now. That's going to cause a real problem, especially in the early stages of the race. Remember, turn 1 here is a very fast left-handed sweeper, and that puts a lot of strain on these rear-engine, rear-wheel drive Porsche Cup cars. And I think drivers are going to have to be very, very careful until they really probably get around to about Cunningham or the Tower turn to get these tires completely up to temperature and feel safe really attacking down into the corner.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the interesting points on the circuit is going to be on the run down to Cunningham Corner. Obviously, chance to slipstream with whoever you're alongside, but it's an incredibly tight corner that, and equally as well, Sunset Bend, the final corner of the lap. It's or maybe this morning because of the time of day we're having this race, maybe it should be Sunrise Bend, but it's so bumpy in that final corner, and so easy for the drivers to either lose the rear end or just understeer out wide, where they're just trying to, find every little last bit of pace that they want.
Yeah, indeed. And one of the problems with that corner, you mentioned the bumps about it. If you take what you would traditionally think of as the optimal line through there, taking a later apex to try to carry as much momentum through, it really throws you into more and more of a bump-laden line. The least bumpy line is just taking a very narrow line through the corner. It may not be perfectly optimal in terms of lap time, but you're going to be more safe in terms of bumpiness and in terms of losing the car. So you may see some brave drivers trying to take some different lines through there.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one to see, especially when you've got cars side by side coming down the, well, effectively the back straight, Ullman Straight, on the run up to the final corner, and it's definitely always invites some interesting racing into that final corner with people on different lines. And just coming towards the end of qualifying right now, Goddestad, he's still on pole with his teammate Christensen joining him on the front row. As it stands up the moment, looks like Christensen, he's going to go out and he's not going to have enough time, I don't think, to get around again to do another lap. Maybe just a practice start coming in from him there. That's no one. Heads back in again once more. Just having a little look at it. Glamo yet to set a time, but looks like he's on an well, yeah, he is definitely on an improving one. Manages to get a time in. That's a 2:04, but that's going to put him at the bottom of the pile for now. But definitely the driver's suffering with off tracks here. We've got 4 drivers yet to set a time: Lacine, Sparlek, Jensen, and Gavenchu. We just see Christensen definitely practicing those pit exits as best as possible here. And there we go. That is qualifying done and dusted here in Sebring, round 4 of the championship. Be able to bring you up your grid very, very shortly. We'll be able to head off racing. Here it is. So Goddestad, he's on pole with his teammate Christensen. Just saying on the front row with him. Scott makes a Brit. He is on the second row with Matthias Berg. And then Danjafea has his fellow countryman Dominic Forster with him for Romanian third row. Thomas Cope has Cundalis with him on the fourth row. Then an all-British row of Wadsworth and Parker. Wadsworth, the highest of the AM qualifiers. Kim Andre Storm, really far down the grid for what we normally expect to see him. Keep one eye out for him during the race, the 192 car. He's got Mark Silcock with him, the AM driver, on the 6th row. And then moving through the field, then get into the AM drivers. It's Merchant and Minot making up 13th and 14th. Then we've got Palmer Lee with Glamo. Well, that's the drivers to set times. Then it's Lacine, Gavenchu, Martin Jensen, and Sparlek rounding out your grid here. And a really interesting one, DJ, because so many drivers that have been on the podium so far this season starting really out of position and well down the grid.
For sure. I mean, obviously the big name there with that is Kim Understrom. They're all the way down in 9th in class. I mean, that is very, very surprising for him to see him down there. But Cope, another one that we've normally seen more towards the front. Also, Lacine, the privateer who was topping the practice charts. I'm a little bit surprised to see him all the way down in 17th. That's going to be a car to keep an eye on to move their way forward.
Of course, he's already been a winner twice in the AM category, picking up race 2 at Mid-Ohio and the victory in race 1 last time out at Red Bull Ring. So definitely a fair few drivers well out of position. Here come the lights. We get ready to go racing here at the Sebring International Raceway. And we are away. And everyone getting a really, really smooth start so far as you see Christensen just heading to the left-hand side of the track, trying to cover everyone off, but Goddestad, he's going to get ahead into turn 1 in that 166 Porsche Cup car as Christensen is now locked in a battle with fellow Scandinavian Berg. He's just going to head up the inside there to get himself up into second position there as we come round down now into Gurney Bend. This is where, oh no, there's our leader. He's gone. Goddestad is gone. He's lost it all by himself for what was a great, great start. And that means now Matthias Berg, the Dane, is leading our field. As everyone just looking in the background there, a few potential moves looking to happen into Cunningham Corner. Such a tricky corner, that hard onto the brakes, but it looks like everyone's got away relatively clean through it. But wow, what a start here, DJ. Our leader already has gone.
I mean, we have talked about the domination of RPC Esports, and it looks like it's all falling apart here for the minute, with now Christensen really being forced to carry the banner. Kim Anderstrom fighting around back in 9th place right now, trying to hold on to that position. But talk about a great start from Matthias Berg, up 3 positions, absolutely mega, and starting to pull about a 3 to 4 tenths of a second advantage over Roger Christensen.
He's definitely getting away from him these early stages of the race. As we come around Le Mans curve here and head out now to the back straight, it's all about the slipstream. You're going to see drivers moving around, pulling out. Oh, there's a spinner in the background. That was the 270 of Mark Silcock sent spinning there. As he's going to fall right to the back of the grid as he has to wait for everyone to come through. But now we're down into Sunset Bend. This is the curve we were talking about earlier. You can see the cars, the way they're bouncing around all over the bumps in the corner, and everyone pushing it right up against the grass and the wall on the outside, trying to carry as much momentum through. But Berg, he is under a lot of pressure now from Christensen, who managed to close the gap by around about 2 tenths coming down Ullman Straight, and it's now absolutely all over the rear wing of that Porsche 911 ahead of him, of Matthias Berg. But everyone we're definitely seeing a breakaway group. As let's take a look. This is what happened to Goddestad on the opening lap. Well, he lost it by himself. Has he got it onto the grass? No, I think he's just got onto the power a bit too early there, DJ. It's rotated the car too much on the cold tyres, and around he's gone.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened to him. He took a big chunk of curbing there coming through Gurney Bend and got onto the power too early. I think there was a little bit of wheel spin as the tires reconnected with the track, and that just sent him around as he started to get on the power.
I've currently got a breakaway top for made up of Bert, Christensen, Cope, and Dressier. As they start to pull away, Forster and Wadsworth are looking to try and just hang on to their coattails and come along for the ride. I mean, Wadsworth, a great start by him as well, the Brit, up 3 places. Our leader in AM, his closest opposition is in 10th place, the Frenchman Merchant. He's currently up by that 10th place overall. Second in class, Tom Minot is currently 3rd in AM at the moment in 12th. Definitely interested to see how this one is going to play out, and especially for Cope and Dressier. As we look at back from Berg right now, you see the perennial moving around on the straight, desperately trying to break that toe. And what can Christensen do? He's pulling alongside Berg to come round into Sunset Bend. Christensen trying to hang it right round the outside. Can he keep it in? But look, here comes Cope. He's trying to get a piece of the action as Christensen just has to back out of it a little bit. And now it's become a breakaway top 3 as Christensen goes defensive once more to the inside line, covering off the move into turn 1. But Cope is scrambling all over the back of these guys, and can he pick Christensen's pocket? This is incredibly epic racing here, DJs. Cope, he slots it up the inside of Christensen.
Mega move there for Thomas Cope, just recognizing that Roger Christensen was a little bit offline coming through Sunset. We talked about those bumps getting thrown off if you take that wider line. That's exactly what Cope noticed happening, and now he looks like he is going to be threatening on Matthias Berg to see if he can maybe take a piece of the lead.
Down into hairpin turn. You could get the best acceleration off of here. Away relatively cleanly. I mean, what was a breakaway top 3? Because of that battle between Cope and Christensen, that has allowed Dressier just to close in a little bit. As we see Lacine here right now, currently 4th in AM, trying to make his way past Tom Minot. This is for the battle, last place on the podium in AM. And Lacine just getting ahead, but Minot says, no, sunshine, you're not having quite all your own way, and keeps his car right alongside. But it looks like, well, I was going to say, it looks like he's going to have to yield to Lacine, but I think he's, well, Lacine runs wide there. It's all happening right now. He's come off the track, and Minot looks like he's out. Oh no, he's back in again. There we go. He's just disappeared off the timing sheets for a minute. I'm just a bit worried about him. But we see right now, our second in AMCAR, 10th overall, Daniel Merchant. He's got Parker right behind him. Goddestad recovering after that spin. He moves out of the slipstream, looking to get his way past Parker on the run down to Sunset Bend.
Yes, he does, and that's going to be a pretty easy move there for Goddardstad. Now he's just got to try to see if he can nail this exit. He's got that preferred inside line. He'll be able to take it out, runs it way out wide. Ooh, that was Parker getting a little bit of the grass on the exit of Sunset there. Lucky he didn't lose more of the car on that, but we got to jump back up front because this is Kundelis trying to make a little bit of move here on Kim Anderstrom.
Yes, indeed. Strom trying to make progress after starting well down and in qualifying from where we normally expect him. Of course, he's a previously a weight race winner as well in the championship. And right now, not enjoying the experience here at Sebring International Raceway. He's currently up 4 places into that 7th. The interesting thing is he's got then a bit of a gap around about, what, just shy of 2 seconds to Forster, who's currently in 6th place. So he really needs to get his head down and get motoring. We've got 7 minutes completed here of the 25 in race 1, as we just see Mokes there having to take the defensive take the attacking line, apologies, over Kundelis. This battle that's trying to play out right now for 8th, and Kundelis, for what was like launching attack on Strom, is now to defend like mad. But we head up to the front. Cope is now hunting down Burke, not intent with making his way past Christensen. Now wants a chance of the win here in race 1.
Yeah, he's certainly going for it. He got a little bit offline through Jean Debienne there, and I think that compromised his exit out of Le Mans. You can see there, though, Burke doing a lot of weaving down the Ullman Straight. Now, if I'm Thomas Cope, I'm smiling underneath the helmet right now, because if there is that kind of weaving, I know I'm in the head of Matthias Burke. Look at him trying to send it around the outside, trying to carry as much momentum as possible. You see, oh, there's Cope around!
He's gone from what would look like an epic position for Cope. The rear end escapes his grasp. He loses traction, and around he goes at Sunset Bend. And absolutely devastating for the Brit. And the victim definitely of the bumps. You can see he's losing it mid-corner. He was drifting through the Sunset Bend. But it was just too much, and it was all over for him there, DJ.
Yeah, it was. I talked about the bumpiness on that outside line, and the bumps just caught him out. He got on the power a little bit too early, that car getting into a full 4-wheel drift as he brought it around, and this now is going to put him back. He's going to be in a little bit of deja vu all over again as he's going to be fighting with Goddardstad.
It is indeed, as we see Kundelis there just trying to make his way past Scott Mokes. Actually, no, sorry, I like this. Mokes making his way past Kundelis, but we can see right now Goddardstad and Cope, they've both fallen from the top as all. They banged wheels, door to door, wing mirror to wing mirror there, wheel to wheel. That could have ended in a complete and utter disaster for the pair of them, but they both hold on, and Cope holds on to that 9th place over Goddardstad right now. These two need to be careful because Gaventu's looming in the background in that 11th place. And these two really need to get a bit of a move on because, of course, that 8th place that is ahead of them, that is at 3 seconds up the road, is so crucial. Because if one of them can get into that position, they will have pole for race 2.
Yes, they will. So they have got to try to get up there as quick as possible. And that's Kundelis currently holding on to that position. As you said, about a 0.3 of a second advantage. And the biggest problem here is Kundelis is able to get the toe off of Scott Mokes ahead of him. And so that means that the leader of this pack, Thomas Cope, is going to be a little bit of a disadvantage in straight line speed.
He is indeed. And you see Cope very gingerly across the bumps there through Sunset Bend. Not wanting a replication of what happened only 1 lap ago from second place where he lost the car, but Godestad right now trying to run it all around the outside into turn 1, but they need to be careful because Kavenchu's now on the attack, looking trying to pick Godestad's pocket. He has just to back out of it initially, but this is playing right into Cope's hands, but they really do need to stop fighting with each other and work together and get on up the road and start getting into the back of Kundalis, who's not had the best of, well, I say the best of races. Everyone around him has made progress, but Arturas Kundalis has still remained where he's qualified, as we see right now. Godestad just still trying to find his way past Cope. Kavenchu is definitely trying to pick up any scraps he can find between these two right now. It was this epic battle all over 9th.
Indeed, and here comes Godestad. He's going to take a look down to the inside of Cunningham to see if that is going to work for him. I'm not sure if it is. Cope's going to have the inside line as they work their way back around. Godestad just very eager to get by. Cope's car not looking particularly stable here. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between him and Godestad, and then again between him and Kavenchu.
Fascinating stuff, and well, now you can see James Parker, he's starting to close up onto them. So what was originally a two-way fight between Cope and Godestad has now become a three-way fight with Kavenchu getting involved, and Parker is now starting to really close in, where these three are tripping up over one another, trying to find a way past. And this is the time now for Godestad, if he wants to get ahead of Cope, is to utilise that slipstream, but heading up front into this battle for the lead, it's Burke versus Christensen. The battle of the Scandinavians for the first and second place. Only 2 temps separating them, really breaking away from Sia. He's currently in third place. You can see him, that 170 car just in the background there. But Christensen trying to find a way past into turn 1, trying to fill the mirrors of Burke the best he can as they come down into turn 2 now. Not going to find a way past. I mean, DJ, surely he needs to be setting up a move into either the hairpin turn or waiting right to the end of the lap and getting a move done along the back straight into Sunset Bend.
Exactly. That's exactly what he needs to do, and he may have a little bit of a good one here. He's going to poke his nose to what will be the outside of the hairpin to see if there's anything to be done there. He's going to have to be very late on the binders and just not able to do it. Thought he may have had enough overspeed there to make it work, but as you said, he needs to set up the move. You've got to be thinking 3 to 4 corners ahead at minimum. And Matthias Burke here, this is another shot now coming up into Cunningham. Burke just doing a great job of positioning that car on the inside line, taking away the easy overtaking opportunities.
Just while we thought it's been going quietly, going about his business. You might just caught him in the background there in 4th place is Kim Anderstrom. He's currently up 7 places, and I'll tell you what, he's bringing Peter Wadsworth, the AM driver, along for the ride. He's currently in 5th overall right now, and there's a massive gap between himself and 2nd and 3rd in class, who are the AM driver's battling it out, but Burke's made a mistake, and this is gifted the place to Christensen, and Burke could even lose another place potentially here right now. It's all falling apart for the Dane.
It is indeed, and I'm not sure what exactly that was, if he just got offline or maybe potentially picked up a slowdown penalty, but just a very strange incident there for Burke, and that demotes him down into 2nd.
See Wadsworth just holding on to that 5th place right now because Forster is closing in. And also, Mokes isn't too far behind. You can really see from that angle just how much the cars are bumping as someone out onto the grass in the background there. That was the 111 car of Kundalis just exploring the grass, and you can see in the distant background there that Godestad, Kavenchu, Cope and Parker battle that's all happening there. But let's take a little look at the replay of what happened to Matthias Burke. So is he got a slowdown or something here, DJ? Because everything... Oh, that was a lot Kirby took there. That's a slowdown, that says to me.
Yeah, he got a little bit too much curb there coming through the first part of Jean Debienne, and that is what threw him off. So that is why he is now down to the tune of about 1.3 seconds behind your leader.
So see Mokes making progress past Forster there. It's an intriguing battle led by Strom, then Wadsworth, then Mokes, and then Forster. Kundalis just starting to, he's not far off the back of it, just around about the 2nd, and Mokes having to defend still, not feeling confident in the position where he is right now, and the gap behind him to Forster. You see that absolutely epic, like, camo-inspired car. The bright colours and the red wing mirrors, the 110 of Moat. Just needs to find a way. He's okay through this section. He can hold on through here, but he needs to try and move and extend this gap away from Forster behind, because he knows he'll be vulnerable, definitely along the Ullman straight. But he will at least have the slight advantage, DJ, from the slipstream off Wadsworth, who isn't too far in front of him.
No, he's only about a half a second in front, so he'll be able to pull that in. And we've seen a very, very powerful slipstream here. You can really see it starting to wheel in a little bit more and more speed getting built up in that 110 machine, but not quite close enough to be able to make the attack here for Mokes. But meanwhile, on the back, we've got a little bit of a battle going on with Cope and Kavenshu.
Kavenshu just making it past Cope for now, but finding it around that outside line that Cope found himself early on as they bump across the track there, and Cope just about holding on to that place over Kavenshu right now, but Kavenshu's not having any of it. He's coming back at him into turn one, and he looks like he's going to retake the place, or is he, as Cope hangs it on around the outside? He's going to be onto the dirt there, surely. He only just about grazes it. And right now, Park is just sat in the background, just hoping he can pick up some scraps from either of these drivers. They're bumpy across the curbs here. Kavenshu just runs in a bit deep. Cope is right onto his bumper right now. They're running down towards the hairpin turn through Gurney Bend. And what can Cope do? Kavenshu moving around, goes instantly to that inside line to cover it off from Cope. Cope hoping for the switchback right now, but Kavenshu, he's a wise old fox. He knows if he just slows it up on the apex, he can keep hold of that place right now. But I tell you what, the way Cope is all over him, DJ, it just feels like it's not if, but when he gets past Kavenshu.
Indeed, and I think for Cope here, taking these aggressive maneuvers coming through the infield, as I say that, he's able to get a great run coming out of Cunningham, forced to back off a little bit there going into Tower. This sort of infield section, let's call it really the second third of the track, because it is so flat around here, there is no camber on the corners. Trying to take a pass around the outside is next to impossible. If I'm Thomas Cope here, I need to back this up, wait until I can get a good run out of Le Mans, and take the move going down into Sunset.
So we look down the Ullman straight, everyone heading towards us. Christensen in the foreground, then Burke and Dresser is currently just bit by bit, just starting to close into the back of Burke. Time starting to run out, only around about 6.5 minutes left here remaining of race one. So come across the line, Christensen in the lead from Burke. Dresser, Strom, great drive from him, up 7 places into 4th. Wadsworth still in 5th, and leader in Am. Great drive from him. Mokes, Forster, Godestad, and Kavenshu right now rounding out your top 10. But I mean, interesting, Godestad has really managed to pull some time over Kavenshu, and he's starting to close into the back of Kundlis, which is exactly what he needs. And Godestad's going to be desperate to just nick that last place off him and get himself inside the top 10. Sorry, top 8, sorry, apologies, and get pole for the next race.
Yeah, that is the really crucial thing, is now we close in on about 6 minutes left to go. You start thinking about your positioning for this second heat race and trying to see if you can get into that 8th place position, because that will give you the prime area to be starting off from come race 2.
Will be indeed, and we see Burke. Oh, that's very... Godestad, he must have had a bit of an incident somewhere there, DJ, because that was incredibly slow off the corner. Let's take a little look. You see just how far ahead he was over Venture and Cope. He outbraked himself here. Oh, was that just onto the inside the curb there a bit too much, and around he's gone.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, just caught a little bit of that inside curbing, and that was enough to upset the car, even with these cars set up for all the bumps around here. Just getting a little bit too much of that puts him behind Thomas Cope right now, so he's still got some more work to do.
He's lost a big chunk of time. He was around about 3/4 of a second just off the back of Kundlis. You saw on the replay just how much he clawed up to the back. Lithuanian driver, however, just that spin, he's now lost some around about 4 seconds, and now finds himself back behind Cope, locked in a battle. is this last place inside the top 10 between these two, and this is going to play right into Gavenchu's hand, who earlier managed to clear Cope, and just taking that wider line, looking to swoop down. Godestad definitely a lot. Oh no, there's contact! Godestad and Cope! And it felt like Cope was on too much of a wider line there, DJ, and was it a repeat of what happened to him earlier in the race that cost him second place?
I think it was indeed. He just caught some of the outside grass and completely lost control of the car as it came around, and unfortunately he caught Godestad out, and that Godestad just a hapless victim there with nowhere left to go.
It goes from bad to worse right now for Thomas Cope. Now down to 14th and going to be carrying heavy damage. Not long left here in race 1. About 3.5 minutes, just over left on the clock. Wadsworth, leader in AM. Only around about 4 tenths ahead of Mokes. Just behind him, the SRM racing driver. Be interesting to see, can Peter Wadsworth hold on to what is going to be a great result, not just for him, but for the AMs in general, to finish so high up amongst the pros. It's definitely a gap, is extended between himself and Keenan Armstrong, who was battling with him originally, is now in 4th place, and a great drive from him. The only other person who's up more places than Strom is Gavenchu, currently in 9th, who is up 9 places himself alone. We're just looking at the clock, DJ, what I think we're going to have maybe 2 more laps left here that Wadsworth is going to have to defend.
Yeah, just about 2 more by my calculation, but he's going to have to try to. Looks like a little bit of a move there for Mokes, trying to see if he can force Wadsworth off of the line, but Wadsworth resolutely holding on to it.
He is for now on that title line, just serving him well, and as EJ said about it during qualifying, that is where all the stability is in the car, where it's definitely less bumpy, but Wadsworth, he's going to try to keep that outside line if he's just trying to keep himself out of trouble. He knows he's on for the win in AM, but Mokes just swoops up the inside into turn 1 and gets himself up into 5th place. Don't be disappointed, down a couple of places from where he qualified. As Godestad, he's headed to the pits, and I think that could be a retirement for him. And ironically, Cope has managed to keep going, although he is all the way down in 13th.
Yeah, it's some pretty heavy damage to both of the cars. I'm frankly amazed that Cope was able to continue on. The front nose of that Porsche very dinged up, although thankfully that's not going to be any engine damage to him, as these are the famed rear engine machines.
Yeah, I think it's just about the only saving grace, really, for them. They'll definitely be affected by downforce and grip levels, maybe even broken suspension. But not long left at all now, just 20 left on the clock, and can Mokes do? I think this is surely going to be a cemented position. I think more the interesting one is what Dominic Fawcett can do against Wadsworth, who looks like he's definitely closing up on him in these closing stages. But talking of closing up, Matthias Burke is still holding on for dear life right now to this 2nd place. What can Drakir do? He's closing in. He's going to have the slipstream down the back straight. It's just that bit too far back to be able to do anything about it, DJ.
Yeah, not quite able to close in on it as much as he'd like to. You need to be within about 0.4 of a second to really have a good shot to be able to get that pass done going down the Ullman Straight.
As the white flag flies. 1 more lap left to go here at Sebring in race 1. But just needs to defend that a little bit longer to hold on to that 2nd place. I mean, interestingly, Burke and Drazia, this will be the first time they would have been on the podium all season. And as things stand at the moment, this will make Christensen's 3rd win. Not long left to go for either of these drivers for be a first, definitely for the 2nd and 3rd place drivers. However, those first steps onto the podium, they'll definitely be looking to squabble over 2nd place. We just see Forster here coming up onto the back of Wadsworth. This battle for 6th place is definitely hotting up down to around about half a second. Wadsworth not getting the best of exits there. And what could Dominic Forster do? Kundlis not too far behind either, so he needs to keep half an eye out for him, but I think for Forster it's definitely going to be all eyes ahead. And I know you get the compression, you know, the sort of like the concertina effect during corners there, DJ, but Wadsworth definitely seems to lose quite a bit of time to Forster.
Yeah, he certainly did, but now as they start to work their way out of tower, it looks like he may just have enough breathing room to be able to hold this off. Now, the ever-crucial Jean Debian and Le Mans corners, he's just got to nail these perfectly as we focus back up on our leader, Roger Christensen.
One more corner left to go. You can see our top four all in the shot. Battle for fifth just coming round the corner at the end of the Ullman Straight there. And Christensen just needs to bring it home through Sunset Bend to claim his third victory of the season. As long as he makes it round safely, which he has done, and he's going to take the checker flag here in race one for his third victory of the season. Burke and Dressier finished second and third. Their first times on to the podium in this championship. Wadsworth's going to hold on to sixth just there. Forster only around about half a second behind. He is your winner in AM. And now what is happening in a bit further down the field is he might not coming through there. He's going to come home in 15th, but looks like the scene he's going to take, second place in AM. And Merchant looks like he's going to be third as Copes just got past him at the line there somehow. The teammates, but you see tell which one car is Copes. The bruised and battered front end of his trip into the wall earlier.
Yeah, very impressive drive there from Cope to be able to hold on to even 12th place with just as much damage as he had. I am very, very impressed as we watch now Glamo working his way around the last couple of cars here to finish.
Here's the last two across the line. Mark Silcock was caught out by his own spin early on. Just coming round to complete laps after that, we'll be able to bring you up with your classified results here from race one at Sebring in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Championship. With everyone across the line, should be able to do so now. Move across, here we go. So Christensen taking his third victory of the season with Burke and Dressier rounding out your podium, both first times on the podium for those two drivers. Kim Anderstrom, a great drive from him. He's holding his car all the way up to fourth place. That was 7 places he managed to climb in the end. Scott Moakes came home fifth. Peter Wadsworth, the Brit, winner in AM and 6th overall. A great drive from him. Dominic Forster, Kundlis, Gafenchu and Parker rounding out your top 10. Then it was Lacine, second in AM, 11th overall. Thomas Cope, well, you have to think, if he hadn't have had those two spins, he could have even potentially had a race victory here today. Instead, he has a second for 12th place. Merchant is in 13th and third in AM. Then it's Mon Jensen, Tom Wynot, Goddestad, another driver suffering from spins, and another one could have potentially had the win today. 16th overall for him. Sparlick, Palmer Lee, Glamo and Silcock round out your field here for what's been definitely an eventful race one there, DJ.
Yeah, I think eventful to say the least. Absolutely insane there for a good chunk of it. And I'm very excited to see what can happen in this invert, as we have often seen when we get to the second race, things get a little bit more crazy.
Yes, they definitely do indeed. And definitely the elbows seem to come out a lot more. And we always definitely have a bit more of an argy-bargy and a bit of a spectacle in race 2, and I'm sure it's not going to be any different whatsoever. Now, as we mentioned, the 8th place gets promoted to pole, and obviously the top 8 reverse then in turn. So that does mean that Kundlis will be taking pole with Dominic Forster alongside him on the front row. But I mean, interestingly, Wadsworth, the AM driver, will be starting from 3rd on the grid, 2nd on the 2nd row, which is a great opportunity for him.
Yeah, a very, very good opportunity for him to try to pick up even more valuable points here on the day in that AM championship. So we'll have to watch to see if he's able to fully capitalize on that.
Definitely, it's going to be interesting to see what he can achieve. Not long left to find out. Just drive us into a quick warm-up session. And I believe we're just going to head to an ad break now. We'll see you shortly, and we'll be back for race 2.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Welcome back. You join us just as warm-up session is about to come to a close, and we'll be heading across into second race of today in the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup here on Apex Racing TV. Definitely, as we were saying, DJ, just before, the Albos definitely come out in race 2, and it definitely gets a little bit more spicy out on track.
It certainly does. It's definitely the kind of time when things start to get a little bit gloves off. And with just as much craziness as we saw in the first race, I've got to imagine this second one's going to get even crazier.
Sure it will do indeed. And interesting stat for you here, DJ. Lacine has, in the last 2 races, he's finished in second in one of the races, and he's won the other. Now, he's had his second already tonight. However, starting for a bit further back, obviously, of course, this is within AM, and of course, Wadsworth is going to start on the second row of the grid. So, if he's to carry up that, keep that stat going, it's definitely going to be a tricky one for him.
Yes, it is, but we'll have to see if he has got the ability to do it, as all cars are gridded and we're ready to go.
Get ready, so here come the lights as we get ready to go racing in race 2. The Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup Series. And you can see already Kunlitz getting a great start there. Forster just tucking in immediately behind him. But there you can see on the inside is Wadsworth, the AM driver, looking to try and pick their pocket and maybe even get up into second place early on. But he's got Strom. He's fighting through as well. And there's Mokes tucks up just behind us. I didn't quite catch who that was. Drusilla running in a bit deep there. But Wadsworth is all over the back of Forster. The AM driver having the race of his life early on here in this opening lap, and potentially even going to look for the move to get second overall. He heads to the inside on the run, down to the corner, to the hairpin, and he's going to get the move done. The AM driver up into second, and Strom picks the pocket of Forster there. But Forster in the space of one corner, he loses 2 places, and it looks like he's going to lose another to Mokes potentially here, who's hanging there around the outside. And where he's offline, he could even lose more places here, as it looks like the 138 there. Yeah, that's Matthias Berg. He's going to head up the inside. And Forster has gone from 2nd down to 7th in the space of about 4 corners here, DJ.
An absolute freight train getting run on Forster. They're absolutely put offline, and because of how all these cars were so bunched up, nowhere to go. He settles down in 7th, but a very hungry Thomas Cope is going to be looking to try to gain on him now.
As you see, there's a spinner there. That's Scott Mokes. He's off. He went to rejoin there, nearly collected the rear end of the field coming through. But Forster needs to get his head down there. He's got Thomas Cope ahead of him. As here comes the long snake of Porsche 911 Cup cars. It's the 992 variant, the newer version here, run on iRacing. As you see, just in the background there, the RPC guys looking to try and make a move on one another. Goddestad trying to get it up the inside of Christensen. Last thing these two want is sort of blue-on-blue action, taking one another out. They drag it out down the start-finish straight. But your leader is Kundlis from Wadsworth Strom. Great start from him, up 2 places into 3rd. There's Berg, Kafenchu, Cope, Forster, Christensen, Goddestad, and Lacine currently 2nd in class, 10th overall as Kundlis trying to find a way to defend off the advances of Wadsworth, who's not content by leading his class and being 2nd overall. He wants that victory overall to show how the pros exactly how it's done, but he's got Strom right behind him. Wadsworth takes that defensive line once more into the hairpin and literally tucks up bumper to bumper now on Wadsworth, Strom and Berg.
Very, very heads-up play. You saw him there move to the middle of the track to prevent any kind of overtake from Anderstrom, and then slowly drifting back to the racing line, perfectly within the bounds of good, clean, fair racing. It was just a very, very heads-up play from Peter Wadsworth. Really, really good defensive driving. Now he's got to try to focus ahead, not look in the mirror too much, as he's clearly got the speed to try to take on Kundlis.
Of what happened to Scott Mokes, and this was on to Le Mans, wasn't it, where he just lost the rear end. No, it's just the corner before that, apologies, and around he went and had to wait for the field to come through before rejoining, and so gutting for Scott Mokes there, the Brit down to 16th place. But just while we were watching that, Strom's managed to find his way past Wadsworth to get himself up into 2nd place. But here comes Wadsworth going defensive against Berg, running out right onto, literally nearly off the track. Berg says, I'm getting right out of that, cuts back to the racing line, and he's going to make the switch back and slip it up the inside of Wadsworth as they bounce through Sunset Bend. And Wadsworth down to 4th now, but still not out and still leading out more crucially.
Exactly. He is still in a good position, but he doesn't want to settle for that. He's going to try to look up to the inside there of Burke going into turn 1. It's not going to pan out. Now what Wadsworth needs to do, is we've got a little bit of a battle up front. Kim Anderstrom trying to take it to Kundlis.
It is. It looks like he's going to slip it up the inside, or is he? Because Kundlis is going to hold on desperately in that 1-1-1 machine. But Burke is now wants to get his front nose in and get alongside Kundlis, but he just has to back out a little bit. Kim Anderstrom taking control of the race here on lap 2. As we head down to the hairpin, everyone jostling and jockeying for position right now. As here comes, wow, Matthias Berg, what a move there. And just in the background, Gafenchu slipping past Wadsworth, and it looks like Cope is going to get a move done. I mean, seeing it here, DJ, it happened really, really early on to Forster. Just getting out of position, coming out of the hairpin, just cost you so dearly. And Wadsworth and Cope connect, but they just about keep it going. Wadsworth struggling with the car, but look who's right behind him now. It's Lacine, 2nd in AM. He's quietly been going about his business, got himself up through the field, and now he can see the victory as Wadsworth just about holds on to it. On the exit, the corner got the rear left onto the gravel, and nearly lost it from the lead in AM, but just holds on. But Lacine, I tell you what, he's going to be fighting tooth and nail right now for this victory in AM, DJ.
Yes, he is. Good run there through Jean Debienne and again through Le Mans for Lacine. He is very, very hungry, already up 4 positions on the day, trying to go for a little bit more here. I don't think he has the overall draft here, but he's just going to try to keep the pressure. There you see him poking his nose to the inside, trying to get into the head of Peter Wadsworth.
Trying to get into the head, but he needs to be careful because look who's looming in the background. It's the RPC Esports drivers of Christensen and Goddestad. We know about their raw pace. They've struggled a bit here today. The whole team has. Let's see, Sebring International Raceway definitely out of position from where their overall raw pace is concerned. However, these two battling for the lead in AM. I mean, they're racing drivers, they'll want those positions overall, but equally, I'm sure they don't want to be a factor in what happens between this battle for the lead between these two protagonists of Wadsworth and Lacine. As you can see, just kicking up a bit of dirt on the exit. What sort of run has Lacine got out of the corner as they head down to hairpin turn? I think it's just going to be that bit too far back. Wadsworth just covering it off anyway to make sure Lacine doesn't get up the inside into the hairpin. Just see slow off the exit there, but deliberately keeping on the line. But there's only really one line there through their DJ, isn't there? Just trying to keep hold of that to stop the progression of Lacine.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really why you saw Wadsworth fall down through the field, and the same with Forrester earlier. If you get offline there, it is a one-way ticket back down the order. Very, very easy to slip on down and slip on by. So, ooh, little bit of a wide run there for Wadsworth. I think Lacine's starting to get into the head here of that 226 machine.
They just come up now. Le Mans. Who is going to get the best exit out of it? Who is going to get the jump down the start along the Ullman Straight? Sorry, we look back from Wadsworth. That is Lacine behind us. That is 210 here at Sebring, and Lacine just moving around a little bit. You can see just like you're saying, DJ, just trying to get into Wadsworth's mind as Wadsworth just runs it and he looks for the cutback, but look who's coming up the inside. Christensen trying to find his way past, but Lacine holds on around the outside and just about keeps hold of that 7th overall. All that's been happening. Berg sets the new fastest lap of the race. He's quickly displaced by Kafenchu. 8 minutes complete of the 25, and this could go any way between the win overall and the win for Hinam right now.
Yeah, it certainly could. Some great action. Lacine trying to send it, but that's Wadsworth around!
Oh, there's contact being lost to the drivers. Wadsworth is flipped up over onto his roof and sent barrel rolling along the straight. Lacine, what damage has he got? There's damage to the front right corner of that Porsche. There's even, I think he's lost a bit of paint on the left-hand side. It looks to be straight. He's not crabbing, DJ. He might get away with this, but this is exactly what happened between Wadsworth and Lacine. And Wadsworth, I think he just lost the rear end of the car and around he went. And all sorts caught up in there. And gutting for Wadsworth.
It was such a great race for him, and we talked about getting into the head. That's exactly what Corentin Lacine did, just able to get into his head a little bit. As we jump back here, this is Scott Mokes in a very, very tight battle.
He is indeed just on the outside line. Trying to get the move done over Sia. He's just ahead of him, but equally Tom behind, not far behind either. He's now up into promote. Minot was actually after obviously losing Wadsworth. He's been promoted up to 3rd in AM right now. A little bit behind at Merchant, who's currently 2nd in AM, but I tell you what, these 4, there's not a lot between them all, and they definitely need to try and tow each other along, because you can see with a bit of damage on the front of his car, you can see the blue car with the pro banner across the top. It's Scott Parker, so James Parker even, and they can close up onto him and possibly make a move and nick that 9th place off him.
Ooh, but Moke's getting very, very squirrely coming through Sunset. It looks like he had a little bit of brake lock up there and just had to catch the car. Oh, that's Lacine! Lacine coming down pit lane!
It's all falling apart. That's got to be damage there, surely. I mean, we spotted the damage on the front right corner. Clearly too much to carry on. Are we about to see a retirement? No, he uses his fast repair gets back out again. Just see him blinking in and out. A little bit of connection issues for him. But what was looking like the win in AM, it's all fallen apart for the Belgium driver. And he is now down to 17th overall. And that puts him 7th in class. That means that Merchant now leads in AM, 9th overall. And now, this is surely going to encourage Minot to close up onto the back of Merchant and get that victory in race 2.
Yeah, he is really going to be pushing for it here because he will know that Lacine has come on in, and there you can already see it out of that 225, but not trying to see what he can do. Maybe put a little bit of pressure to Merchant and get him offline in much of the same way that we saw Lacine trying to put the pressure to Wadsworth.
Merchant already has pedigree in this championship. He won race 1 at round 1 at Bathurst for the AM category. Hasn't since then, has struggled a little bit, only been on the podium, well, obviously twice more. Once last time at Red Bull, and of course earlier on in race 1. However, he's never had a race victory within AM to his name, and he'll be desperately hoping and trying to claw at the back at Merchant and trying to find a way past his 50. Kundelis now under attack. There's Rodder Christensen heading his way through. And the Sakral Esports driver has to succumb to the pressure of Christensen, who gets himself up into 5th. And well, you see, just in the foreground, they just might have caught it. Strom versus Burke versus Kafenchu. They're having a right old ding-dong there as they come onto the brakes. We head up to them now, and Burke is absolutely all over the back of Kim Strom. But you see Kafenchu getting right involved, and these three, I mean, wow, there's nothing to separate them right now, DJ. Under a second, well, nearly half a second covers all three of them as they run down to the hairpin. And what can Burke do? What is Strom going to do? He looks to take, yeah, there we go. I was going to say he's going to take that defensive line, but trying to squeeze his car through with his contact, but there was never room there. And he backed out of it, and Kafenchu loses it. It's all happening here, DJ. And Burke just waltzes away. He strolls off up the road. And what has happened there? It all went wrong.
It all went wrong. Just a little bit of front to rear contact there for Burke, and that sends everybody around. I think everybody just got distracted from the the RPC Esports driver getting spun. My goodness gracious, we talked about getting the elbows out. The elbows are about as wide as the body here at this point.
Well, while that's been going on as well, DJ, Minot's known he's managed to find a way past Merchant, and he's also now got Chukaya between him as well. He's up into 10th overall now, leading AM. As we said earlier, that'll be his, if he can hold on to that, that'll be his first victory in AM this season. And the Brit will be desperate to keep hold of that one. Burke is leading with just over half race distance completed in race 2. Cope, you can see him in the background there in 2nd place, but this is what happened. Well, you can see the contact there, and Kafenchu, I think you called it right there, DJ, just distracted, desperate to get on the power. He could see Burke was vulnerable. And whoa, that was so close. He nearly collected there by Christensen, coming through like a freight train.
Indeed, he's very lucky that nothing happened. We jump back in the battle. This is Minot duking it out a little bit with, I believe, Dracia. Dracia trying to hold it on the outside. It's now going to be a drag race, but Dracia's off! Oh, how did he catch that?
Well, did he even clip the wall there, DJ? I mean, it looked like he did, but I think he might have got away with it, not well have hit it. And while that's been happening, look, you see Merchant there. Thomas Cope's teammate. Obviously sharing the same livery, that pink, white, blue and yellow iconic livery. And right now he's trying to find a way past Tom Minot. This gap is now closed right up, only 3 tenths between those two. It's the head round Gurney bend on the run down to hairpin turn. What can he do? Minot just seems to have enough in the bag for now to hold on to that place, but he runs it in a bit too deep. What can Merchant do? He hasn't got quite enough within him to get his front nose alongside Minot, and Minot gets away big time with that one there, DJ.
Yeah, he got very, very lucky with that, but Marchand knows that he is prone to mistakes, so watch for him to be poking his nose this way and that, trying to see if there's a little bit of something that he can get out of the 225. That iconic white, yellow, pink, and blue livery, as you said, it is going to be all over the back here of Minot.
But look, Dan Chikaya, he's in that 12th place, tucked up right behind Daniel Merchant right now, and he wants a piece of this action. He wants to get in and fight with the likes of Scott Moak. So you can see heading off into the distance right now in that 9th place. Lassine's just got past Palmer Lee to get himself up into 4th in class, 14th overall. But right now it's all about this battle for the lead in AM. Why not? This is Merchant. What can Josiah do to try and... Is he going to do anything? To be fair, he's looking to make his way around the outside. Minot runs it in deep once more. He's going to find all the bumps and luckily doesn't find more in the wall on the outside. And now Merchant needs to defend this inside line. He doesn't want Minot to get away. He wants to be the next car in line. So he can try and find a way past these two still side by side, and he's lost it. He's lost the rear end. And around he goes at turn 1.
Just carried too much speed into the corner, and that is effectively going to end that battle. Marchand dropping now down behind Martin Jensen. He will hold on to the 3rd place in class, but still a heartbreak there for the 245.
I think heartbreak's probably a good way to describe this race for so many of the drivers. We're right on board in the replay with Merchant. I think, mate, lost the rear, tried to catch it, and then tried to slow it down by applying some brake pressure, and the rear end bit, that caused the rear end, the front end grip bit, the rear end lost grip even more so, and around he went, and wow, that still hasn't stopped Josiah and Minot having a good old battle here.
No, it hasn't, and Dan Josiah now able to get on by Tom Minot. That, remember, is not technically for position in class, as Josiah is a pro. He'll move up to 10th overall. Minot still holding down the P1 in amateur.
Minot needs to remember as well, it doesn't need to stress too much. Look, I mean, you can see the clear track behind him. He has got nearly 8 seconds in the bag over Martin Jensen. In 2nd place in AM, 12th overall. As we see up front, Cope versus Christensen, and Christensen just looking for that inside line. Cope will be hoping for the switchback. We know what's already happened to him on this wider line before, but luckily he holds on this time. He's carried all the momentum through, and this is lining him up to be on the inside for turn 1, but Christensen heads across, trying to find a way past as the driver looks for the switchback, and Cope, is he going to be pushed out onto the gravel? No, he just holds on, and somehow he keeps alongside Christensen, who looks like finally now he's made his way past Cope.
Yes, he has. Cope looked for a little bit of a crossover there going into turn 2, but heads up play from Christensen to be able to block up that apex, just stopping the car a little bit more than he normally would. Very, very good run. Cope maybe thinking about a move now going down into the hairpin turn, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far back.
Well, he's too battling, but I was about to say the close right up. Kundelis runs it in a bit deep there into the hairpin turn. But you can see Kundelis, Gafenchu, and Godestad, they're looming in the background. They had closed up initially, but due to Kundelis just running in a bit deep, that slowed the progress of that little group of 3 up. Onto the back of these two are battling for 2nd and 3rd in class right now. Gafenchu's managed to find a way past, or has he in the background there? Yes, he might just about make it through Kundelis. Just in the end, has to yield. And it's all happening here.
Most certainly is. Whoa! Strom trying to take down to the inside of Gotterstead, or of Parker there. He is able to hold that out, but just barely. Gotterstead able to get that over Kundelis. Kundelis now finding himself down 2 positions after the start of that corner, and Gotterstead definitely moving ahead.
He is indeed. An intriguing battle being played out up front here.
Yes, it has, as we watch them work their way around, trying to get everything to go here. Now it's going to be Gotterstad that's going to be trying to move his way up forward as they go along, working it out, going through the motions. As we watch here, they work it and try to go through turn one, separating out just a little bit.
Having a few technical issues here, DJ. I thought I'll leave you to it for the moment, but I'll tell you what, it's this cracking race that's playing out here once more in this championship.
Yes, it is. As we focus in now on the battle for this is P2 in the amateur class. Lacine trying to hold off Martin Jensen to the best of his abilities, trying to see if there is anything there to be had for Jensen. Remember, Lacine had to come back through pit lane to be able to get that faster pair. He had a meatball flag. He was not able to continue on. Lacine here, though, looking like he's got a good advantage to go. Ooh, got to jump back up to the front, though. This is Gavenchu trying to hold off from Gotterstad to the best of his abilities. Gotterstad doing a really good job to keep pressure to the back of that wounded car of Gavenchu, that 144. You can see there as it comes around the damage to the rear end. Thankfully, no rear spoiler damage, so I don't anticipate there's a whole lot of straight line speed disadvantage. Jumping on board with Gotterstad into the crucial Le Mans corner, very close behind, gets the power down. Excuse me, that was Jean Debienne. Now they come through Le Mans. Looks like Gotterstad takes a little bit more of the curve. Has to put a little bit of counter steer into it, and I think that's going to prevent him from really being able to get any sort of move done. Yeah, indeed, he's just going to have to stick behind right here. Not able to get a move on at all. He's going to try to see if he can take a little narrower line through Sunset, maybe put some pressure to Gavenchu in front. Gavenchu able to hold out on it as they cross over. Should be about 2 laps to go by my recollection here, as your leader, Matthias Burke, has crossed over the start-finish line here, and we have about 2 minutes left in the session. It may actually only be 1 minute by the time it ticks over. We will have to see as they continue to go. There it is. We just continue to watch Gotterstad working his way. Big chunk of the curb up there for Gavenchu.
You see that the Gavenchu really a lot of damage on the rear of his car that he's carrying there. Just how much is that hampering him potentially? We know what Gotterstad is like, but I mean, Gavenchu equally himself, the Romanian, he is no slouch as they come down into the hairpin. Right now, this could play out, and it could go absolutely anyway between these two. And what can Cunliffe do? You can see him just in the background there, and Strom as well. I mean, Strom hasn't had the best of outings today, DJ, at Sebring. However, he's still got that raw pace and talent within him, as we see Tracia there heading through, and that for him and Minot having a great battle. As you mentioned earlier, DJ, this doesn't make a difference in terms of class. These two are from different class, just the position overall, and wow, I mean, Tom Minot needs to be really careful right now, because it could potentially lose him his first win in the championship in AM.
Yeah, he's got to be a little bit heads up of that, and that's why I think you saw him back off there a little bit from Drangicea, just letting him go. As we jump back up to that battle as they work their way onto the Ullman straight here, Gotterstad. This is much closer to Gavenchu. This could be a move.
It could be indeed, as locked in and locked on is Gotterstad. Looking for the outside, Gavenchu making him do all the work around the bumpier line. We know Gotterstad can make the switch back work. You just see the cars just bumping and bouncing across the inside paving of Sunset Bend there, and the race down to turn 1 begins. They almost run into the back of one another, and Gavenchu still holds on from Gotterstad. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds left. That's all that remains here. It's Sebring, and Gotterstad knows that clock is ticking down. It knows time is running out, but while they've been squabbling over 4th place, that has brought Cunliffe right back into it. Strom nearly loses it in the background there, just about saved it. I think that's going to drop him out of this fight. And now it's a three-way dogfight for 4th place. Gotterstad there just having a little look to the inside, but just having to back out of it for now.
having to back out. He's got to pick his opportunities to do this. If I were him, I would really focus on trying to get the best run that I can out of the next couple of corners. He really wants to focus here on tower turn, set up the good line through Bishop into Jean Debienne, and maximize out of Le Mans. He doesn't want to have that bit of counter steer again like he did on the last lap.
It's the last thing that he needs. Running out of time now. Running out of lap space to try and find a way past Gafenchu. It is for Godestad. What can the Romanian do? Not many corners left. Just got Le Mans. And then Sunset Bend. Probably one of the trickiest final corners in the whole of the world of motor racing due to its bumpiness. But coming through it right now is Matthias Berg. He's been out by himself since losing his competitors due to spins and contact. But the Dane is going to come home and take the victory here at Sebring in race 2 for his first victory of the season. Christensen gets second. Cope rounds out your podium. Gafenchu holds on from Godestad. Cunliffe settles for 6th in the end. But wow. What an eventful race. Parker's going to come home in 9th, and looks like Jasir's going to beat out Minot for that last place inside the top 10. But Minot's going to take victory in Am, his first win of the season in Am. A great result for him. Lassine's going to take home 2nd place. What a great result after he looked down and out after that spin, DJ.
Yeah, exactly. A very, very heads-up play to be able to come back like that. I'm very, very impressed with that run from him. It just shows you the kind of tenacity that he has.
I mean, the fact he's closed up to within 5 seconds of Minot as well. That's actually incredible. I mean, no, obviously Jasir and Minot were having, an epic battle of themselves, which would have slowed them up dramatically. But even so, that is a crazy, I mean, Lassine was right to the back of the field, let's not forget. To then get all the way back through everyone, obviously losing time, lap time as well, where he's having to overtake people, but then to close that up to 5 seconds, well, one of the drives of the day, and possibly even the drives of the championship for me.
For sure. It is just absolutely incredible to see him be able to pull that out like that. We can really and truly do a great job as it goes through.
Definitely, and congratulations to Burke as well. Let's not forget about his victory overall in his first one in the championship. A great drive from him. And let's tell you what, let's have a quick chat. So we can, I'll tell you what, we can. We're going to have a bit of a chat to some of our drivers shortly. Let's just run you through your Class 5 results here from Race 2 in Sebring. Burke taking the victory. Christensen 2nd, Cope 3rd. And these are your podium. Gafenchu holds on to 4th from Godestad. Kunlistrom, Merckx Parker and Jakir running at your top 10. Top Minot 11th overall, and your winner in Am. Lassine 2nd in Am, and Jensen rounding out your podium in Am. 14th was Merchant, then Parmalee, Silcock, Glamo, Sparlek, and then the last of the drivers on the lead lap, with Forster and Wadsworth finishing 1 lap down. But wow, obviously there's a queue forming in the waiting room, DJ. Who do we have a bit of chat to first? I think let's have a bit of a chat to our winner in Am, who's had his first victory of the season within that category. Tom Minot, congratulations. What a race for you.
Yeah, no, that was really good. I've actually had 0 practice. I got on and joined the practice session before the race started. I had to go away for work at the last minute call. So out of all the races so far this season, this was the one that I prepared the least, and somehow I've come out on top. So I'm not sure what I've been doing wrong so far. But yeah, chuffed to bits. Yeah, really happy.
I mean, we could see you having an amazing battle being played out with Josiah, you know, over that last 10th place, obviously different classes. In equal terms, myself and DJ, was sat there, half holding our breath and a bit worried because you got a commanding lead. You could just afford to take it easy and take your first victory in class, and yet you were still on the attacking foot and trying to make progress against the pro.
I completely forgot to look at the standings and look at the car numbers until about lap 10. So then I realised that there was absolutely no need to push. So yeah, no, I think I had a good battle with Dan on the second race at Mid Ohio. He's a clean driver. He knows where to put the car. He knows. Yeah, I feel quite comfortable racing around him, and he pushes hard. So I didn't feel too bad. But the moment I realised I was up front, let's say made it a little bit more easy for him to pass. But yeah, absolutely chuffed. Great race with Dan. And I think the others that were in and around, like Scott, who I think came through. Scott Mokes, he came through cleanly, but put his car where he wanted to get it and got through me. But that was absolutely fine. He did it fair and clean, so it was great. Got a bit lucky with a bit of the wreck sort of midway through to kind of catch up, but no, chuffed to bits.
Definitely. And before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to at all?
I'm going to say my pregnant wife, who is next door and probably wondering who I'm talking to. So there we go.
Just some strange men on the internet. And that's
all.
It.
Exactly. Cheers, guys.
No worries. Congratulations. That's top of mind, your winner here in race 2. And well, DJ, I'll let you take your pick of so many great people who've lined up wanting to have a chat with us.
Well, I say we go with our second place finisher here in this race, Roger Christensen. Roger, not exactly the domination we're used to seeing out of RPC Esports, but a great result for you nonetheless.
Yeah, good points. That's the most important part today. So, yeah, felt like it was a lot of chaos and all about just surviving. And I was lucky today.
Well, when you come into a race like that where you sort of suspect that it is going to be a little bit more chaotic, a little bit crazier, that kind of thing, does that change the way you're driving at all, or are you still doing what you are normally going to be doing?
There's some guys I know I have to be careful around, and of course that's gonna change how I approach being around those guys, but like the practice and warm up and everything that's the same thing. But yeah, just feel like you have to know the guys you can't be alongside for too long. And yeah.
Gotcha. Well, as we continue to go along in this championship, obviously it still continues to be a pretty much of a stranglehold for you and the RPC Esports team. Are you focused a little bit more on the personal championship, or are you just working a little bit more on getting the team as far as long as they can be?
I feel like we're having okay control in the team championship, so I think the guys are more or less thinking about their own personal results from now on, and yeah, I'm just trying to not use my drop week before I have to. So far it's beginning to look good for me with the other guys having some troubles. So just have to get some good points every race and hope for the best.
Well, we hope for the best alongside you. Anybody you want to thank for this run here today?
Yeah, I need to thank my team, RPC Esports. That's I feel like nobody in the team would be where we are without each other. So yeah, with all the practice and collaborations, and that's the most important thing for me in this sim racing and the races. So yeah, big thanks to RPC Esports and the guys.
Well, thank you, Roger, and congratulations on a good run here today.
Thank you.
We've got just about enough time for one more interview, DJ. I'll let you have the honours of having the last one. Let's pick someone out.
Well, I will go with our third place finisher here in this second heat race, Thomas Cope. Thomas, a little bit of a crazy race out there for everybody.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race. crashes everywhere, spins everywhere. Just trying to avoid all the accidents, honestly.
I mean, was that the main way you were driving? Did you expect this race to be this chaotic, or did it come as a little bit of a surprise to you?
It came as a bit of a surprise, but I knew I was struggling on the exit of Sunset, especially in the race one. My rear tires are just absolutely gone, so I spun twice, unfortunately, and one of them caught one of the RPC guys, unfortunately, in the second spin. But yeah, just trying to maintain the tires. Even though the cool attempts, the track's really bumpy, so you tend to go through tires a lot more. Yeah.
Indeed. Well, I mean, with that spin, obviously, you were able to keep on going to the best of your abilities and do that. But how do you sort of mentally reset after having a really tough race? You obviously have a great second race here to be able to come home third. How do you take that warm up, take that other time to mentally reset and just be able to get yourself back into the game?
It's I don't know. It's a different mindset. Like, you just think you've got a new car, new start. Let's try and leave that behind and make up for the race before. My mindset is especially in this race, it wasn't the best. I was effing and jeffing to my crew chief, but he's really cool. He calms me down. He gets my head going in the right place and looking in the right direction.
Well, he clearly got you in the right direction here for this second race. Anybody you want to thank for the run today?
Yeah, all the team, everyone that's helping practice for the series. Obviously, Charles for the amazing keeping my head in the right way. Family for watching and enjoying the broadcast. And also you guys for the amazing broadcast you do, and the series organisers, the amazing league.
We are more than happy to put it on. Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you.
There we go. Thomas Cope, who had definitely an eventful race to say the least. And if you haven't had enough of your motorsport action here at Apex Racing TV, coming up in just over 2 hours' time, it's the TireRack.com Road to Indy E-Series presented by Cooper Tires. That's round 3 for them at Barber Motorsport Park. And tomorrow night, I'll be back in the commentary booth from 8 PM GMT for the Apex Racing League Touring Car of Britain Championship. Round 5 for us, we are at Snetterton, and then on Friday night, 9 PM, it's Radicals. Week 8 for them at Suzuka. That'll be definitely an interesting track and car combo to watch out for. Then on Saturday night, it's the double header. First off, it's Apex Racing Academy F3 League from 8 PM. They are at Donington, and then Formula Renault 3.5 follow after them from the mighty Watkins Glen. That's another great track and car combo to watch out for. Well, DJ, before we disappear, wow, where's we close out with this one? Give me one word to describe the action.
Chaotic, I think, is the only word to be able to use to describe it here today.
Definitely, and we'll see you in a week's time as we head to Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama, for what's going to be another 2 races of absolutely epic proportions. I've been Tim Cox with DJ Clark and Alex Simpson on production. We'll see you in a week's time. Goodbye.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, You will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.